Hello. Turn that off. Ugh. Okay, there we am. There I am. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Ellie, sorry, the boy. Congratulations on first. Ellie, welcome, welcome. How you doing? The boy. Let's do a spin for you, huh? One second. All right, the boy. Let's see what you win. Oh, congratulations. First Arta Arta. Okay. There you go, the boy. Hope you enjoyed that. First as fuck. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome. Hope you all had a good Christmas. Good to see y'all again. We're back to Monday. Means we're doing more Higurashi today. Me. Yeah, I have just sent a message to Index, summoning her. She'll be here momentarily. But yeah, how's everybody doing today? Tell me how your Christmases and everything was. Oops. Get off. Uh. I got an Occlusion Quest 2 for Christmas, and I'm very happy. Occlusion Quest. I have no idea what that is. Is that a VR headset? I've never heard of those. Oculus. Okay. Okay, that's what I thought it was. Awesome, awesome. I wish I had one of those. The VR horror games seem to be the future, man. That shit fucking gets in your head real good. I bet that was not very cheap, was it? Autocorrect did some weird shit. Yeah, it does that. It do that sometimes, yeah. Oculus Quest 2. Did you get any games with it, or like... How does that shit work? How do those work? I wonder. Like, do you install games onto the Oculus, or do you just, like... You hook it up to your PC, right? And you just play whatever the fuck you can with it, I believe.
Raiders, come one and come all, and enjoy the show.
Ooh, Index-chan, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Raiders. I'm the Ice Emperor Penguinato, and today we're going to be doing some Higurashi. Index will be joining me to do some reading. But yeah, welcome. How's your stream, Index? Making music? Pretty sweet, huh? Pretty fucking sweet making music. Let's see, no games came with it, but some on the store are free. It's a separate thing. I bought Beat Saber and Blades and Sorcery. Oh, sweet, dude. Sweet. Oh, you can hook it up to your Steam, right? Your Steam account and just place it shit through there. I'm just sitting here chilling, drinking my hot cocoa.
Thank you for the host. We got you front row seats.
Get in. Thank you for the host, my man. How you doing? I got hot cocoa? Yes, I did. Or hot chocolate, sorry. Chocolate. Ah, very tasty.
I'm
Yep.
alive.
There you are, Index. Welcome, Index Chan.
I set a timer and I got so engrossed in doing the music stuff that
Uh-oh.
I hit 7 o'clock and I'm like, oh no!
Uh-oh. How was the stream?
It was really good.
It's fine. I was like, making music? Heck, that's awesome. Wish I knew how to
Yeah.
make music.
I have no idea how to, I don't know how to make music either.
That friend of yours is teaching you?
But yeah, Bobbin was showing. So Bobbin did a. So I want. Okay, so I want to do a Doki Doki Literature Club cover.
Uh-huh.
And Bobbin was like, "Hey, I'll help you with it." And Bobbin was like, "Listen," like I showed Bobbin the song, and Bobbin was like, "This should be a metal track," and made a little short bit of it being a metal track, and it just blew my mind. And I'm like, dude, I gotta share this with the world.
Oh, fuck.
Like, it was very good.
That sounds awesome.
But I'm so sorry I'm late. You are allowed to punish me.
Okay, Index, I'm going to tie you up and hang you blindfolded from a tree. And we're going to tickle you all over your body.
But it's cold outside.
Oh, bad.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, I got your gift, by the way. Very, very cute. I love it.
Wait, it already came in the mail?
Yeah.
You got your little thermos?
Yes, I did. It's very cute.
I'm
And you know
so
what's really
happy.
funny? You know what's really funny?
What?
So my other friend of mine, he asked me to make a wish list for Christmas. So I was like, fuck it. And I just put a bunch of penguin shit on there, right?
Uh-huh.
And he bought me the
Oh my
same
god.
fucking thermos. But one of you got me the black and one of you got me the blue. So I'm like, oh fuck, nice. I got some matching different colored thermoses now.
See, we both were like, huh, oh, look at all this penguin stuff. What out of this penguin stuff is something that I know they would use?
Just put my coffee in there in the morning. Fuck yeah.
Like, that is now to remove you from my Amazon list.
No.
Now you I can no longer send you gifts from Amazon. Now I just have to wait for Gift to Cares.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I just have everybody's addresses on.
You're gonna kill us all, aren't you?
My mom was so pissed. She's like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah, you
And I'm
told
like,
me. Your mommy looks at your fucking wish list now?
"No, she like saw it
Or,
on the orders and she accidentally almost sent you something."
uh-oh.
So she was all pissed.
Welcome, kitten. Just got up from a cat nap. Hope that was good, man.
Yeah.
Sounds very relaxing. Yeah, I'll need to take a picture and put that up on Twitter later. That shit's priceless. Both you got me the same fucking item, just different colors. At first I thought like the order got doubled by accident. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh
And
no!
then I looked inside and it had notes from two of you.
Did it come at the same time?
Yeah, same day,
Oh my gosh, that's so funny!
but in different packages.
That's
So
so
that's I
funny!
know. So I'm like, what the fuck?
That's even more funny! Oh my gosh,
I
that's
guess
hilarious!
I guess shit got like stocked up like before Christmas,
Fucking
and
great
then they
minds think alike, man.
yeah. I guess it got like stocked up like the day before Christmas, and then like since
Mm-hmm.
after Christmas now they're like, oh shit, everything comes out like the same time now. Like all their
Yeah.
back ordered shit. I don't know, but yeah, thank you. Very
You're
sweet.
welcome.
I got a
I'm...
whole wish list if you want to go through there. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I
Well,
mean, I can
for like
eventually.
future reference or whatever. If
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah,
No, just making fun.
I'll just have to
I
take
saw it
that.
and was like, you
Which
want to
one?
know the funny part? I actually almost bought you the black one.
Oh shit, that
And
would have
then I
been
was
funny.
like, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to get him the black one. Like, I really wanted to. And then I was just like, I'm going to get him the blue one.
That's
It's so much
funny.
cuter. It looks exactly like its little blue self. It'll be so adorable.
They're actually very cute thermoses. So it's funny when I looked at it on Amazon for the wish list. I thought it was like a water bottle, like a big one. I'm like, damn, it's way smaller than I thought. I'm like, oh, it's a thermos. Derp. I didn't actually read that. Thought
Yeah, it's for soup.
it was
It's
a
for
water
soup.
bottle. Soup
It's for soup.
and soup and coffee.
Soup, coffee. You can
Whatever hot.
like you can actually put cold in it, and it's gonna keep your cold stuff cold.
Yeah, but I have a big ass water bottle that I use for that. But yeah, these will be good for coffee and stuff. I like if I want soup. Yeah, for sure.
When I want soup.
I want soup. Do I have to take it apart to wash it, or do I just?
I think. I
Like,
don't know.
I don't know if I take the inside out or.
Index is unsure. Index just saw it and thought, "Oh, that's a cute penguin," and look at it. He can use it every day.
Every fucking day.
Every day.
Every day until it melts.
Use it every day. It's like he knows that every day, and I was like, "Ah," because I told you earlier that I love practical gifts.
Yeah,
I don't like giving someone something that like
they'll
I
never
know they'll
use.
use once and then never touch again. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
I know what you feel.
It's like getting someone a video game that you know they're not gonna like, you know.
Gonna play. All right, Index. I showed the game. Start up now.
Alright, I'm here.
Whoop. Yeah, here we are now. Capture.
Oh,
Gonna capture. Gonna capture.
I don't know. Well, you're capturing my heart.
That's funny. That's very sweet.
Penguin dies in the background.
I guess I did capture your heart, huh?
Ha ha!
Ho, ho,
Yeah.
ho, ho. All
Ripped
right.
it right out of my body.
All right. We're coming up to the end, I believe. Ooh. Okay. Major. There's a call from the director's office to an outside number. The phone number is our residence.
Eh. What does that mean? Can you listen in?
Of course. I'll put it in over the speaker. One of the members flipped the switch. There was the sound of a ringtone.
Why is Director Erie calling that house now?
Maybe R really is at home, and he's trying to let her know that Tomitake has been captured.
That might be it. He has no idea we're listening in.
What was Hide going to talk about? Takano waited patiently to eavesdrop on a conversation, and there was nothing but a ringtone. It had been over 30 seconds. There was no answer. Nobody was home. The director sure is patient. I guess he's sure that she's home. Major! Wait, did I read your shit? Crap, I just read your shit, didn't I? Wait, log.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't. Okay. But, Major! We have the director on the security camera at the back door. The black and white quad display monitor showed Ide running out the back door.
What's going on? Who's calling from the director's room?
Takano became utterly confused, but the ringtone continued. It couldn't be. Takano finally realized what was going on.
That sly little dog. It's a trap. He knew we were listening in, so he made a fake call. Irie is a traitor. Capture him! Capture him! I don't think it should be catch him. I think it should be capture that wicked bitch.
But she doesn't give a fuck if you're human or not. Security room on the first floor! Stop Director Ide! Target is heading to the staff parking lot from the back door. The two mountain dogs who were playing cards in the security room on the first floor jumped into action. The security room was located next to the back door, so Ide was still within reach. Ide had made a serious mistake.
Oh no.
Could have left the clinic during the 30 seconds Takano and her men were listening to the ringtone. But when he got to the parking lot, he realized he forgot his car key on his desk in the director's office, so he had to go back and get it. Oops!
No.
Stupid fucking idiot. It was only at this point that he realized he shouldn't have gone back. He should have escaped on foot. But Ide wasn't used to emergencies, unlike Akasaka. It was a typical mistake any normal person who had never gone through anything dangerous would make. Although he made mistakes, he didn't forget to call Akasaka. People usually become extremely clumsy when they're in a rush. All he asked to do was to turn the key, but he couldn't even do that smoothly. He kept turning the key, and finally the engine started. Ide still thought that he was alright. Even if one of them questioned him, all he would have to do is say that he was going out to get something. When he released the handbrake with his sweaty left hand, he saw two of the mountain dogs dashing out the back door. As the two of them looked around, Ide's eyes met with one of theirs in the rearview mirror. He pointed at Ide's car, and the two of them started running towards it. The two of them looked extremely serious, and certainly not like they were chasing after him to return a dropped pen. Oh! Oh! Ide's body was soaked with sweat. Before the two of them could jump on the car, Ide stomped on the gas pedal, and the car took off after spinning its wheels. Of course, the dogs didn't give up. They got into their own car and started to chase after Ide. Security to base! The director's on the run in his car. Do you want us to force him to stop? Major.
This is Takano. He's probably headed to the Furude Shrine. There's so many people there, so it'll be impossible to catch him. Fine. Don't worry about injuries. Don't let him go. Stop him by any means necessary.
Roger that. We'll force him to stop. Then backup just in case. Over. Roger that. We'll send Nightingale's backup. But don't wait for them. Stop him right now. So the mountain dogs had Ide's car in their view as it ran away at full speed. They had to find the perfect spot and timing to stop him. It's not easy to drive a car when you're in a rush. Of course, the more you step on the gas pedal, the more speed you gain. But when you're in a hurry, you can't control the steering wheel well enough to escape quickly. Ide could see his pursuers in his rearview mirror and was completely distracted by that. He was driving carelessly. His driving was so reckless that he could easily get into an accident on his own. As the fear was driving him into confusion, he made a wrong turn. And that mistake made him even more confused and panicked. Come on, director. You're going to lose your license for driving like that. Although the two guys were ordered to stop him, they were starting to think Ide is going to get in an accident without them doing anything. They'd rather not drag this into a car chase if they didn't have to. This is Phoenix 1. Security vehicle, come in. The commander. Security vehicle here. We're still chasing him. We're on the path through the forest near the 5th district. Not sure of the exact location. We're heading your way as your backup, as per HQ's orders. Estimated time of arrival is in 15 minutes. Don't wait for us. I don't think we'll be there in time. Okunogi grumbled. He had to leave Okinomiya in a hurry to respond to Major Princess. Because of the distance, there was no way he could get there in time. Even so, he was still ordered to provide backup. He could have explained, but the princess wouldn't have listened to him anyway. The mountain dogs who were with Okunogi smiled bitterly. In which direction are you heading? In the worst case scenario, we'll end up leaving town. Don't let him. We'll comb the hills for him, so break his legs. Is there anybody else? Any weapons? It's in the middle of the forest. There's nobody around. We have one submachine gun in the security vehicle. The guy in the passenger seat reclined it and climbed into the back. He lifted one of the seats and took out a black machine gun. The paint on one corner was coming off, and the shiny silver metal was exposed. It was a machine gun, but it didn't look as powerful as an ordinary one. However, once the dog extended a shoulder stock and set it in place, the weapon looked far more vicious. It's an MP5, correct? Is it A5 or SD3? The man in the back seat looked at the uniquely shaped gun barrel. It was thick and long. It's SD3. It has a silencer as well. You're allowed to fire. Shred his tires with the full burst. Roger that. We're attacking. The guy in the back seat opened up the driver's side back window and leaned out of the car. His sharp eyes aimed at one of the tires on Ide's vehicle. It was a straight road. Ide's car was weaving, but not enough to avoid a shot. The pursuers had his car in their sights. They were trying to get as close to Ide's car as possible, but they were afraid they might get caught up if it overturned. They soon decided that this was as close as they were going to get. I'm going to fire on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Fire! 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 Burn! The sound the machine gun made was a lot quieter than what people would imagine. But its power was unimaginable. One of the tires on Ide's car was cut to shreds and collapsed in a puff of white smoke. Because one tire collapsed all of a sudden, Ide lost control of his car. He tried to steer away, but that made things even worse. As it spun, Ide's car drove off the shoulder of the road and slid down the slope into the forest. Ah! Ah! The sound of trees breaking and the car battered from every direction disappeared down the slope. The pursuers stopped their car and looked down after it, but the plants were growing so high it was impossible to check from there. The attack was a success. The target vehicle went down the slope. It's possible the driver is dead. We'll search on foot. Phoenix 1, roger. Nightingale's in the area. If you're lucky, you'll run into them. We aren't even close. I'm counting on you. Good luck. Roger. Ending transmission. Let's go. Mountain dogs left their car and headed into the woods without hesitation. You might be dead. Akasaka had received a phone signal from Ide. The phone rang for over 3 minutes. The signal told Akasaka that Ide was in some kind of emergency, and that Akasaka himself was in danger now. Cicadas made a mistake. He didn't realize the ringtone itself was the signal. He assumed someone staying at the house would pick the phone eventually. Her error allowed Akasaka to perceive that extremely important for a warning. Akasaka waited for exactly 3 minutes, then ran downstairs quickly. He had already put his shoes on while listening to the phone ringing. Akasaka had memorized the layout of the town and the map he'd kept near the phone. He knew the shortest route to the Sonozaki residence, as well as a number of alternative routes, just in case the shortest was already blocked. People would be surprised to see a stranger coming out of the house, but Akasaka didn't care about that at the moment. He had to get to the Sonozaki residence immediately. However, the observers would see him, and that was a problem. They'd soon come after him. Upon finding the house empty, they'd assumed the man who ran from it knew something. Once Akasaka left Rika's house, he had to be prepared to fight. He relaxed his shoulders and reached for the doorknob. Major, there's a message from the unit observing our residence. A suspicious man just exited the house.
A man. A man? Who is it? Actually, I don't care. Just catch him.
Loud and clear. Go pursue and stop him. It was only 10 a.m. It was a lively morning. Many people were getting ready for the festival. Akasaka weaved through the people going in the opposite direction and ran down the stairs leading from the shrine. The mountain dogs were already chasing after him. There was a significant gulf between the happy faces on the villagers and the serious faces on Akasaka and his pursuers. He could hear them coming up behind him. He didn't even need to turn around to check. Akasaka held his breath, focusing all of his senses to their limits as he sprinted even faster than he usually could with all his might. The success rate of an escapee depends on the distance between the pursuer and the pursued. Even a little distance makes a difference. Akasaka ran down towards the bottom of the stairs like the wind, then headed in the opposite direction, away from the Sonozaki residence. Of course, this wasn't a mistake of his. He just wanted to lose them. Shit, what speed? Does he have wings on his feet or what? Ha! Ha! The observers weren't ready for this chase. They never expected a fast and fully grown man to run out of the house. They assumed it would be a little girl. That assumption was their mistake. Besides, Akasaka's locomotive-like power was nothing like that of normal people. There was no way they could catch him. Mountain dogs fell for Akasaka's trick. They called HQ, told him that he was headed in the opposite direction, and followed him that way. Akasaka was confident that he could have had them completely confused if he'd had a little more time. Not only that, he could have attacked them individually. Were there 3 pursuers? No, there were probably 4 of them. His mind, body, and skills were all in top condition. It was possible for him. Usually overrating oneself is dangerous, but Akasaka was above such an immature level. Resisting violently at a place other than his destination might prompt them to waste manpower and time. But Akasaka wasn't sure of the real meaning of Ide's phone signal. They were at a severe level of emergency. Akasaka had no time to waste, so he had to get to the Sonozaki residence. As Akasaka ran as fast as he could, he tried to think about the situation calmly. Could he attack them first, and then head to the Sonozaki residence? The pursuers were scattered about and running out of breath. It would not be easy to fight 4 men at the same time, but it would be different to take them one-on-one. When Akasaka decided he had a high enough chance of winning, he took a deep breath and made a U-turn around a streetlight. What? Mountain dogs were surprised to see that the man who was running away from them was now running towards them. They prepared themselves to fight. Before Akasaka even reached him, he already had everything all planned out in his head. He had calculated how many blows he would be required to take them all out. But his calculations were wrong. Without even needing a second blow, the first pursuer dropped after one of Akasaka's legendary armor-piercing punches connected with his face.
Oof.
And while the first was still in the air, his second armor-piercing punch took out the second pursuer. There was a chorus of cicadas, which woke Ide up. He needed a little more time to realize what had just happened. It had saved him from. However, it was sheer luck that the metal parts of the tangled them warped. He was on the bottom of the slope near a different forest road. Hold on one second. Dog out.
Oh no. While Penguin is letting the dog out, I will tell you who let the dogs out.
Oh my god.
I'm dog sitting right now too, so my sister and her husband and me are dog sitting dogs.
Dog sitting the doggos, eh?
Yeah. There's a deaf dog named Hades.
Uh-oh.
You big boy.
They endured the pain and removed his seat. Got out of his car soon after. He heard someone walking towards him through the bushes. Sewer. Couldn't get caught just yet. If he was captured, it would be impossible to rescue Tomitake. Not only that, nobody would ever know that Tomitake was captured in the basement. Even though Ide knew he was helpless, he couldn't falter here. The only thing he could do was resist them and run for as long as he could. But as soon as he started to run, Ide realized it. He had no strength. His legs were shaking and he couldn't even see. He'd only been stepping on the gas pedal, but his lungs were about to explode and his brain was lacking in oxygen. It had to be that certain type of exhaustion that came immediately after hyperarousal. Ide understood that intellectually, but he still couldn't get his body moving. He tried to run, albeit in a wobbly way. He heard a noise coming down the slope behind him. This was it. But Ide still tried to run as far as he could. Security to HQ. Found him. He's injured. We'll capture him. Ide heard the voice of his pursuer. Shit, he thought, what can I do? I have to run, I have to.
Tap into your heart's spirit of retreat.
Son, what's that song you've been singing?
Oh, don't you know? It's really popular nowadays.
My apologies. I'm rather ignorant when it comes to pop music. There was a wrecked car ahead.
My
White?
boy's gonna be
Say what?
my baby.
Uh-oh. White smoke was still visible, so the accident must have just happened. Asai slowed down.
What is it? Oh, jeez. Hey, isn't that the coach?
Their car stopped. The sound of the brakes startled Ide, and he fell on his behind. Ide was obviously the one who had been in the accident.
Hey, coach. Is that your car?
Gion-san. Are you alright, Dr. Ide? You go see a doctor. He says to the doctor.
Kasai-san. We'll take the coach to the clinic so he can treat himself, huh?
Stand up. I'll take you there. No, not the clinic. I can't go there. I have to go to the Sonozaki residence.
Coach? Coach! What's going on? This isn't good.
Asai looked at Ide's car, then looked around the area. Then he whispered to Shion. Shion-san, in some kind
What kind?
There are bullet holes in Dr. Yude's car. They don't seem to be from a handgun.
Oh, really? You take that end. Let's get him to the main house.
Two of them loaded Ide into the back seat, got in the car, left in there.
We have to ask the coach what's going on. He can't go back to the clinic. I wonder what he means.
Sounded like he was running away from someone there, but I don't know. It's obvious that he was involved in something dangerous.
Hey! Where are you going?
John was confused as to why Kasai suddenly made a wrong turn. Dr. Ide's pursuers aimed for the tire of his car. They wanted to capture him alive. Pursuers were likely close by.
Or are they your husband? There's no car behind us, nothing in the air. In this area, you'd be impossible to follow unless they're tailing it. You'd be impossible to follow unless you're tailing us.
Going to make another left turn just to be safe, and then head to the main house. You watch what happens behind us.
You got it.
Here at HQ. Target was picked up by a civilian vehicle. I'm sending the license plate number and the car model. Roger that. Nightingale, your target is a civilian vehicle now. Search for it immediately. Try to capture Dr. Ide alive. Neutralize the civilians as well. Dead or alive.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you going to find him?
Don't worry. There's a tracking device on the director's coat. Nightingale's vehicle just can catch the signal and pinpoint where he is. Ide was lying in the back seat, wearing his white coat. There was a device on his collar. Security department put it there just in case. So no matter how hard Shion tried to look for anyone following them, the enemy already knew exactly where they were. This is Nightingale 3. We found the vehicle. Just made a turn by the watermill. There was a map of Hinamizawa on the table in the security room. The path by the watermill led to a certain private property. It belonged to the Sonozaki family. Sonozaki residence was the only building on it. Major!
Oh my. Like rats in a trap.
This is Phoenix 1. Nightingale, don't head in yet. Phoenix will join you in just a little bit. We're going together. Nightingale 1, understood.
Okie dokie. Don't give them any time. Why don't you let Nightingale go? Oh, something popped up. Why don't you let Nightingale go in?
Bad connections.
Huh. Nobody listens to me.
Sonozaki family's basement had a security system. Displayed image captured from the various security cameras on the property. Of course, it wasn't as high-tech as the one at the Ide Institute. It was in the room on the second floor of a gas hoe house. Japanese-style room where you had to kneel to avoid hitting your head. With bundles of wires snaking away from the monitors, it felt like a hidden chamber. There was electricity and a phone nearby. Although it was in a basement, it had all the basic amenities of the Sonozaki residence. At first, all the club members had watched the monitor curiously. But after a while, it got too hot in such a tiny room. Mion and Rena stayed in the room to observe the monitor.
Mi-chan, look, there's a car. That's Kasai-san's car. It's probably Shion. I bet she came because the festival is today. Jeez, why did she have to come now? I don't have time for her.
Their granny had been at the shrine since early this morning. So there was nobody upstairs to answer the door. And if Mion didn't answer it, Shion would think that nobody was home. Mion wondered if she should tell Shion what was going on. Shion could be Hmm.
Elaine.
Asai's car stopped in front of the gate. Someone was getting out of it.
Uh-huh. Chan. Look, isn't that the coach? What?
They saw Shion and Kasai holding Ide on the monitor. Obviously, something serious had happened.
Let's move. Rena, Kei-chan, come with me. Satoko, watch the monitor. Rika-chan, don't come up. Hanyu, make sure Rika doesn't move. Leave it to me! I got it! It's not fair.
Maybe Okanogi had made the right decision. If he had let Nightingale go in as Takano had ordered, it would have been on the monitor. Okanogi ordered them to stand by until another unit arrived. So Mion didn't notice that the enemy was about to attack. By this time, there were many vehicles belonging to the mountain parked by the windmill. Okanogi and Phoenix One had joined with Nightingale. They were getting ready to head in. However, it had been a good idea to leave Satoko to watch the monitor. And if Mion hadn't gone out, Ide would have been killed. Mion didn't know it yet, but Ide was their only hope of rescuing Tomitake. So as a result, entirely by circumstance, they did everything correctly.
Sis. I wonder if she's gone to the shrine already. Sion! Where'd you come from? You were in the basement, weren't you? I'll tell that hack that you were playing down there. Who cares about that? How's the coach? Coach?
Is he alive?
Are you all in trouble too? What's going on? Tea-chan, listen well. It's like this.
Coach! What happened? Oh, I'm sorry. The mountain dogs got Tomitake-san. He's in the clinic's basement. I got into an accident while they were chasing me. Ide explained everything he could while enduring the pain. Everyone was happy to see him safe, but Mion's expression quickly grew stern. And she asked Shion a question.
Is anyone after you? Nobody was following us.
Come on, let's go in. I have a bad feeling. I heard the sound of a car approaching, and I wasn't alone. Who could it be at this time of day? It's a waste of precious seconds to even think that.
You idiot! They are after you, Shion. I'm telling you, nobody was following us.
Kasai picked up both sisters and ran through the gate.
Kasai.
Go to the basement. It'll be safe there.
Mion-san! There's a lot of strange cars approaching. I know. Go back to the basement. I'll shut the door. Where's Rika-chan? She went into the secret room with Hanyu-san.
Nightingale 6, we found the target. Some of ours friends are there too.
Ara's hiding there, I know. Right. Jiro-san.
Ugh. Tomitake was lying on the floor of the security room. Hands and legs were cuffed, and there was another pair of handcuffs to connect them. leaving him bent backwards on the floor. Couldn't get up or even turn around. They kind of laughed and poked Tomotake's side with the toe of her shoe. What a bitch.
And you adopt me, mommy.
What a bitch. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, super bitchy.
The mountain dogs climbed over the fence easily. There was no need for anyone to explain at this point. It was obvious that they were the enemy, and they were the mountain dogs that Rika had spoken about many times. They went through the grove of trees and headed for the entrance of the underground storehouse. The first 5 mountain dogs were supposed to capture them all, but they fell down, one after another. Just as one of the mountain dogs started to wonder why they fell, he felt something on his leg. The next moment, he was flying through the air. Get! As he stood up, his leg got pulled again. He realized that there was a rope wrapped around his leg. Because the way he fell, the rope was wrapped tightly around it and wouldn't come off easily. Be careful! There are traps in the bushes! Toko had set up lots of traps in the bushes. After all, she wouldn't just sit around all day on an empty property. The club members headed to an underground storehouse one after another. The mountain dogs couldn't do anything, although they did see them.
I'm closing the door. Come help me.
Here we go! It was a heavy door, but when they put their strength together, it closed easily. He unlocked the door quickly, putting on the deadbolt for good measure. Next.
I cut out. I'm so sorry.
Oh, is it the weather?
I don't know. Do you think this will be enough? Do you think they'll break the store? Don't you think? I saw 5 or 6. No, perhaps even more cars on the monitor. They're all vans, and I saw a strange man inside of them. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
I don't think the store will be broken that easily, but I imagine they're used to doing things like that. You shouldn't underestimate them. Before he could even finish speaking, someone pounded on the door. The second group of mountain dogs had arrived. Although the heavy door was separating them, it wasn't all that comforting to know that the enemy was on the other side. Sorry. It's all my fault.
You haven't done anything wrong. Let's go further in.
Yeah, let's find out how many there are on the monitor.
Okay. Fine, leave me out of this. I'm just an outcast.
Oh, shut up. I'll explain when I have 5 minutes to spare.
Nightingale 1 to Phoenix 1. Targets are in the basement. Steel door here and we can't break through. Phoenix 1, roger that. Shit, this Sonozaki family must be so rich. The property is too huge for us to surround, so we don't even try. Join Nightingale. Nightingale, knock some trees down. Use them to ram down the door. Phoenix 7 to Phoenix 1. We have some plastic explosives for indoor use. You want us to get them ready? Plastic explosives are explosives for military use. There are various different kinds, but he was talking about the type specifically made to break down doors. Okanogi momentarily thought it was a good idea, but changed his mind right away. This was a small village. If there was an explosion, everybody would hear. It was daytime, and they were on the surface. It was the worst time and place for the mountain dogs to do their job. An explosion isn't a good idea. Wait a minute. What time is it now? It's almost 10 a.m. I see. Phoenix 7, we'll do it. Get the fuse ready. Huh? Commander, what does 10 a.m. have to do with the explosion?
Fireworks.
Okanogi's mind was working sharper than ever. He was sure that this would work. Everyone gathered in the secret room.
Is everyone okay? We're watching the monitor. There are about 30 guys outside.
That many? That's not good.
Can I see? Look, they don't know what to do.
When Mion touched the switch, the screen switched to the view of the entrance to the basement. Some of the mountain dogs were checking out the door. They didn't appear to be trying to force it open. They were simply at a loss for what to do.
What do you think they'll do now? They think we're trapped like rats here. So, I'm sure they're going to try and break open the door.
What the heck? What are they doing with that log? They must be thinking of using it as a battering ram.
Chitoko, just said they're assuming we're trapped like rats. We should get out of here while they're trying to open the door.
I agree. Besides, we have to rescue Tometake-san.
You're right. No matter how strong the door is, we'll be in big trouble if they find us. I think it's time for us to escape. Sis? Don't you think you should call the police? Oh yeah. I completely forgot about that. Even if a spy at the police station overhears us, there really isn't much he can do at this point anyway. I'm sure Oishi will come. I'm sure Oishi will come right away.
Mion picked up the phone. Why hadn't she thought about this earlier?
What?
What's the matter? Mion panicked as she tried to listen for a dial tone.
The phone. What's wrong? What's going on? I don't hear anything.
They must have cut the line. What? Suddenly, everything went dark.
What? Is that a power failure?
Kasai lit his cigarette lighter. Mion turned her emergency flashlight on.
This is the drawback of a basement. They won't be able to see either, right? I know. But they might have some kind of device that lets them see in the dark. Don't you think? Yarn, so why do you think they cut the electricity? Are they just going to observe, going on the offensive? If nothing else, it'll work to turn the security system off. Yay! They were checking out the door. They didn't give up. They have a way to destroy the door, and they don't want us to notice it. That's why they cut the electricity. Are they going to blow up the door?
The door could be destroyed in a second, so we can't stay here, right?
Town. Let's get out of here. One second. Show us the way to the hidden escape route. This way, everyone.
Mion was getting confused amidst all the chaos. Hadn't underestimated the mountain. He even considered that they would have some kind of explosives. But she didn't think they would use them in Hinamizawa in broad daylight. Somebody will hear that explosion. Is there even such a thing as a silent explosive? What a rough bunch. They're not even concerned with minor risks. This is a crazy situation, but the mountain dogs are always very, very careful. I don't know about the Kano-san, but there's no way Okonogi-san would allow an explosion in the middle of the day.
Yet. Yeah, they're still going to do it, huh? They've got guts. I don't know much about them, but just like a silencer on a gun, aren't there like silent explosives? No way. No matter what you do, an explosion sounds like an explosion. Oh, I get it. You're a staff member of the festival, aren't you, Coach? What time do they let people know that the festival is going to take place?
I'm pretty sure it's at 10 a.m.
Don't you think just like a check a field day? If you want to hide in a tree, hide it in the forest, huh?
Rika knew Okonogi well. He would always complain about how he had to guard her like she was a princess. Rika never expected Okonogi to be so. That was why she was more frustrated than anyone else. Mountain dogs had quickly set explosives on the basement door. Long wires were connected to the explosives, and the mountain dogs were waiting at the other end, on the ground. One of the members was holding a detonation switch. All the wires were linked to it. It's almost 10. Morning, I thought it was bad luck that this happened on the day of the Tanagashi festival. But now I'm glad about it. Okanogi had realized that he could use the festival effectively. He was going to make sure his enemies got what they deserved. On the morning of a village event, they used fireworks to let everyone know that an event is going to take place that day. The method is often used for track and field days. Since Watanagashi starts in the evening, the fireworks go up at 10 a.m. The fireworks, of course, make loud explosive noises. Hinamizawa is located in a ravine. Sound echoes, making it hard to figure out where it's coming from. That was an advantage for the mountain. Ow! Loud noise and a shock shook the ground like an earthquake. The explosion must have warped support beams everywhere. There was this discomforting squeaking noise and dust fell from the ceiling. It certainly was powerful. The explosion must have blown the door wide open. An explosion that took place without anyone noticing it.
Come on. This way.
Leon led everyone into one of the rocky caves. There was a well-hidden shaft in there. They called it a hidden well, but it was actually a very eerie vertical tunnel. They didn't have enough flashlights for everyone, so there was no way for them to see the entirety of its ominous hidden well. Are you telling us to go down there? How far does this go?
There's a horizontal tunnel crossing after it. About 30 meters. You can get into the mountains through the tunnel. Okay. Then why don't you go first, sis? You know the way around here better than anyone. Huh? No, I have to. Who else? Kasei-san and I will be the rear guard. Come on, hurry up. Okay.
Mion was going to volunteer to take the rear, but Mion and Shion knew instinctively. Because there were so many of them, the rear might not make it in time. Unlike the iron door at the entrance, once the enemies were inside, all they'd have to do was to go through the inner doors, which were easily breakable. The route was basically a straight line. They probably won't even get lost on their way. That's why Shion took the rearguard position before Mion did. After all, she was actually the older sister. Shion wanted to protect her younger sister, who was playing the older sister in real emergency. Mion intuitively knew what Shion was thinking. Mion understood well the relationship between her sister and herself. She wasn't the only one who felt guilty for taking the older sister's position. Shion felt guilty for making Mion take on the responsibility of the family head. And here, finally, was a chance for Shion to atone. Mion-san, you have the key to the armory? Now is the time to open it. Mion silently threw over the key. Kasai and Shion took it and ran deep into the rock tunnel.
Listen, everyone. It's about 30 meters to the horizontal tunnel. If you fall, that's it for you. It's dark, so be very careful as you go down. If you end up waiting, make sure to light the way for others. Okay? I think only one or two can go down at the same time.
Hey, what's up, Horror Hog? How you doing, man?
We'll see it at the same time.
Yeah, Jinx.
Want me a soda pop?
I'll go first. Come on, give me some light.
Mion-san, be careful. The ones with the flashlights, you be careful too. If the lights were on, they could have gone down quickly. There were actually a few light bulbs inside of the well. Of course, Mion had already checked them. He was now certain that the enemy had cut the power to the basement. It was extremely dangerous to go down this well with just a little light from the flashlight. As one went down, there had to be people lighting up the way. Mion was right. She realized as she went down herself that it was almost impossible to go down the ladder without the weak light from the flashlight. The lights didn't reach all the way down. In the darkness, her feet suddenly became unsteady. Every step she took made her more nervous. Oh, well, good to see you, man. We're just reading more Higurashi, and we're getting very close to the ending, finally.
Yes.
Christ, very.
I'm so happy.
It was about 30 meters to the horizontal tunnel. That's quite deep enough already. But the hidden well went deeper than that. If Mion fell, she wouldn't just injure herself. Hasn't it been 30 meters yet? She thought. She couldn't even remember exactly how long 30 meters was. Had she missed the horizontal tunnel already? At that time, she felt a cool breeze on her body. She could sense a huge hole nearby, so she took out a flashlight to light the surrounding area. She saw the black tunnel yawning before her.
Okay. Here I go. Okay. I found the tunnel. Rika-chan, come down.
Mion led up the way from below. Okay. You're next, Rika-chan. Coach, you go next, then Hanyu, then Satoko, okay? Let's move. Ide wanted to say that he would go last, but Rena gave the order first. They couldn't get into the basement of the clinic without Ide. Without him, they couldn't rescue Tometake. Their lives were all equally important, but at least for the moment, his was the second most vital after Rika. Please be careful. I'll light your way.
Okay. Come on, everyone, hurry up!
Rika was much shorter than Mion. She couldn't go down the ladder as easily. Her legs were too short and her left foot slipped.
I'm okay. Damn it. This life where I never grow up. I'll pass the June of 1983. And I'll grow taller. My boobs will get bigger. I won't stay like this forever. I need to pop out.
Though she had been living for over 100 years, Rika was still afraid of heights. As she fought that fear, she tried to climb down as quickly as possible. After a while, the light from the top didn't reach her anymore. Leon's light from below lit her way. Leon's light was enough. The next person could come down.
I'm okay. Whoever's next can go. Okay. Oh, here, I'm next. You're a grown man, so go down quickly.
Right. I'll go next. The mountain dogs moved forward carefully, wearing special goggles so they could see in the dark. The one in front noticed Toko's trap and stopped the rest of the men. Nightingale 7, Nightingale 1. I just found a wire trap. Be careful coming in. Roger that. Phoenix 1, there are more traps. Why don't we turn the lights back on? Idiot, that'll only help them escape more easily. They must be having problems trying to escape in this darkness. You have to give them as much trouble as possible. Corner them in the darkness and we'll get them. The huge cave system. There must be another way out. They won't try to hide. They'll try to escape. Give them assault units some firearms, bulletproof shields, and grenades. The Sonozakis are basically a major Yakuza family. Assume they can counter us with smuggled guns. Which means watch out for those tripwires and claymores. Unless you want to end up with thousands of lead pills in your body. They'll shred you apart. Roger. Sotoko's traps were effective only because they were professionals. Sotoko had assumed any professionals would misinterpret her traps as more dangerous ones. That was why she ran wires everywhere. And Sotoko's right. Although the mountain dogs were successful at breaking down the iron door, they hadn't even reached the torture room. However, the huge cave with the hidden well was just on the other side of the door to the torture room. It was just a matter of time before the enemy caught them. Okay, Retta, you're next.
Yep. You can come down in a hurry too, Katie. Kei-chan, how's it up there?
Retta is coming down right now. She's moving right along.
Okay, don't fall. The rumors say that all the people who've ever opposed the Sonozaki family were dumped into this well. It's a bottomless pit.
What? Shion, what the heck are you carrying around? Shion had returned with a big machine gun in her hand. What the heck, Keiichi thought. It's one of those machine guns they use in the war movies. Its defining characteristic is the way the magazine is bent forward. What's it called again? Kasai had one in his hands too. He appeared used to handling machine guns. It almost didn't look real. But it seemed like a natural fit for this surreal world lit only by a flashlight. Keiichi felt like the odd one out here. He didn't know how to use a gun. Shion and Kasai hid on opposite sides of the cave so they could see the entrance of the... Not only Kasai, but Shion also seemed to be used to doing things like that. Shion, I'll do that. So why don't you go down next?
Thank you for that manly offer, Kei-chan. But it'd be much quicker if you went down swiftly, and if I had to explain how this,
Kalashnikov?
Kalashnikov. Yeah, it's Kalashnikov. How this Kalashnikov works. Don't worry. A pretty girl like me will never die.
As
If I
Shion...
do, it'll be up my sister's hand.
Oh, God. As Shion winked at Keiichi, they heard a door being knocked down nearby. Immediately, Shion and Kasai's looks turned stern. They took cover behind the rocks, aiming their guns into the darkness. Enemies had entered the torture room. There was a flashlight next to the door. Kasai had left it there. Mountain dogs seemed to be able to see in the darkness, even though they couldn't. So it was an improvised solution. The footsteps of the mountain dogs were going closer. They were passing through the torture room. In other words, the door was the only thing separating them from their enemies.
Yay, Chikun! Hurry!
Dion, you'll go first. Dion-san.
If something happens to you and I live, my sister will never forgive me for that. I don't have my loved one anymore, but she does.
Huh? What are you talking about now, of all times?
Oh, don't play it. I don't plan to die. But tell Shion this. I want us to be twins again in the next life. Get going.
Dion yelled, telling Keiichi to move on. He didn't understand why Shion said to tell Shion, but she asked him, so he had to convey that message. Otherwise, if something terrible really happened, Shion's message would never reach him. An explosion shook the air. Something was thrown in from the torture room. The explosion from that, the noise from Kasai's machine gun sounded at the same time. The clamor echoed in the cave. All I can do as those violent flashes of light burn the series of images into my eyes is shed tears over my own intolerable powerlessness and climb down the ladder. Mion quickly screamed from below. I descended and screamed up to the top too. 9-1! They attacked us! The enemies are trying to stop us from the huge cave on the other side of the torture room. There were 2 muzzle flashes, probably AKs. Whoever it is, he's a professional. Phoenix 1, give us an order. Yo. Our opponent is a professional. Don't go in unless you graduated from the killing house. 9-1 and 2, Phoenix 7 and 8, get ready to move in. How many firearms do we have? We have 4 MP5s and plenty of grenades. We can't trust our bulletproof shields, so we abandon them. There's a flashlight on the right next to the entrance. I'm assuming they don't have a device to see in the dark. 9-1 here. We're going in. Throwing stun grenades when I give you the signal. While the enemies were quiet, Kasai changed his magazine. Dion-san, that's enough. Please go.
If I go, I'll fire you while you reload. You can't do that by yourself. You can't do it by yourself.
There was a contradiction in what Shion just said. According to her theory, the last 2 can never escape. Shion kept shouting from the tunnel below.
Damn it, Shion! Hurry up and come down!
Everyone knew it wasn't safe to stay, but nobody could stop Mion from screaming. Mion and I will wait for Shion here. Rena, why don't you take everyone else and escape into the hills?
Oh, okay. No. I don't want to lose anybody. Rika. This is the final world. There is no more starting over. I don't want either Shion or Kasai to die. I don't want a future like that. I know we can't redo it, so no, I don't want it. Shion, please come down.
As I looked up to the top of the well, I saw a violent flash and heard a roar. Then they heard explosive sounds, different from the sounds of the machine guns that Shion and Kasai were using. They also heard a tinkling sound, which could have been the sound of bullet shells. They couldn't see anything other than the flashing lights. Only the noise reached them. When everything stopped, after a little silence, Footsteps that didn't belong to Shion or Kasai gathered at the top of the well. They could hear hard-soled shoes kicking the bullet shells as they walked. It's clear. Nightingale 1 to Phoenix 1. We've secured the loopholes. That voice echoed down the well, and Neon and the others heard it too. They didn't know how to react. Some became speechless. Some started to cry. Some let out a wordless scream. They looked up the well as they waited for Shion and Kasa to come down, but there was no sign of them. A bright beam of light shone down from the top of the well. Ide grabbed Mion and Keiichi's collars and pulled them back. But they could see in the dark. They might already know that Keiichi and the others were hiding in that horizontal tunnel. Roger. We'll try. Can you hear us? You don't need to reply. Just listen. The guy shouted from the top of the well. Want the Queen Carrier, Rika Furude, and Director Kyosuke Ide. You've misunderstood something. We are here to eradicate a unique local disease. What's happening right now is because we suspect the director's involvement in a conspiracy. We have nothing to do with this. Turn them over to us. They already turned all their flashlights off. Nobody could tell what kind of expressions were. But I could sense Mion's expression distorting. And because of the darkness, nobody knew to stop her from...
You murderer! You killed Shion!
Oh, are you talking about this girl? Don't worry. She's still alive. Just unconscious.
She's alive! She's alive!
Mion didn't rest easy at their announcement, though. Because she could knew Shion's survival wouldn't help resolve the situation. Because she knew, not...
Yeah, that's a typo.
Same with the guy. He's alive too. But if we refuse to turn those O2 over to us, we'll have to use them both as bargaining chips.
What are you going to do to them?
Mion looked up to the top of the well in the dark. It suddenly became very bright, and she saw something unbelievable. Mion was unconscious, and one of the men was holding her. He was basically sticking her body over the edge of the well. If the man let go of Shion, she would fall to the bottom. They had no idea how far down it went. There was no way she would survive.
Shion!
Shion didn't reply, but he moved just a little bit. Shion was alive, at least for the moment. No way. They won't push her off.
What are you saying? They can easily kill a hostage if they have more than one. They have Shion and Kasai-san. He'll push Shion off and ask the same question again. He means it.
Mion lashed out fiercely at Keiichi. He regretted saying what he just did. I'll give you a little time to think, but after 60 seconds, the first hostage will go down. Think it over very carefully.
What should we do?
Mion was half crazed with fear and panic. They want me. Let them think Rika-san has already escaped. I'll go. They should be satisfied with just me. That plan sounded like the best idea for minimizing damage, but Rena quietly spoke up.
No. Shi-chan and Kasai-san risked their lives to buy us time so we could escape. If we went back, then what they did would be wasted. And what do you suggest we do? Are you saying we should let Shion die? Are you saying we don't care? You don't care if Shion dies, Rena? Fucking damn you! Please stop, Mia-san. I don't know what to do either. Because Chia-san is my Nini. Nene. Shion!
Mion started to cry as she held Satoko's head. The mountain dog's beam of light shone in the horizontal tunnel. Their eyes had grown used to the darkness, so even with that little light, they could sort of see. But so what? This was a desperate situation, and Mion and Satoko continued to cry. Rena bit her lower lip, trying to hold her feelings in. Ide simply looked down, and as for Rika and Hanyu, they were restless.
What did we do, Hanyu? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do either. Can Akasaka come out of nowhere and punch someone in the face, please? Hey, you're a god, aren't you? Do something. Do something! Use your psychic powers to knock the enemies down. Help Shion! Only a miracle can save her. You're a god. Make a miracle happen.
Slap. They all heard a strange sound. Everyone was surprised to see what caused it. Hanyu just slapped Rika in the face.
Rika, listen to me. Hanyu, we both have experienced many worlds and we've learned much. Sometimes you learn and sometimes I learn. We've learned so many important things. And now, in this learn, we've learned the most important thing. Sometimes, we've been pursued something. Sometimes, something we finally got. You know what that is?
It was how to make a miracle happen. A miracle is like a number you get on a die. People think that the result of the roll depends on God's mood. God holds the key to miracles. Humans don't have the right to control them.
Welcome, Raiders. Come
heck.
on and come on and enjoy the show.
Hey, Porio, how you doing, buddy? Can you shut up, Penguin Porio, for me, please?
Yeah.
How's your stream, Porio? I was looking for you for a little bit until I started mine. Good to see you streaming again, though, friend. Hope things are going well. Totally not a penguin, Ray. Oh, that's sus. That's a little sus. Vicious penguins. I like it. Well, welcome, Raiders. I'm the Ice Emperor Penguinato, and I'm here with my friend Index-chan, and we're reading Higurashi right now.
Yeah.
We're finally coming up on the end, it looks like. If you guys wanted to watch the show, spoilers ahead. Warning. But yeah, it's getting pretty heavy. How was your stream, Porio? How did everything go? I was eating noms fast. Ha! Yeah, she is. Anyway, but although humans don't have the right, they can perceive. Everything died? Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I never played Oxygen Not Included. What is that? Is it like some kind of simulation game or something? They can perceive how to improve their odds and how they can make a miracle happen.
How do you make a miracle happen? Rika? You should already know. You learned it before I did. This world must be precious to you. Why don't you try it? Just one last time.
Like a management game, gotta manage a space colony. Oh, that sounds stressful. Sounds very stressful. What is it, like survival games and RTSs I'm not very good at, personally. Definitely not my strong suit. Everyone kind of starved to death. That's kind of fun in its own right, isn't it? Watching everybody die. Like The Sims, I just killed them all. I wouldn't even give a shit.
I like resource management games like that.
Oh, really?
I'll play that. I used to play them for hours when I was a kid. I read this. Did I cut out? Oh no. Oh no!
Rika's mouth hung open.
Our
That's-
table! It's broken!
That's right, she thought.
Am I back?
What?
Am I back?
You're back, yeah?
I died. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
That's right, she thought. I had forgotten again how to make a miracle happen.
You won't go ahead and escape.
Rika stood up. Everyone was surprised to hear what she said.
Here, take them. I'll go out there. Takano means to kill us both, but she wants to kill me in a certain way. So, she won't kill me for a while.
Are you kidding? You'll end up dead anyway.
If I don't go, she and Kasai will be killed. I'll let them capture me and time it to take Takano. The time it will take Takano to kill me will give me a chance to counterattack.
There was an Arda Arda redeem here? Time to save up. Oh, you didn't know, Poyo? Yeah, there is. It's very cursed, though. It's not your average Arda Arda. That's all I'm gonna say.
First, that's why it's 666.
Yeah, 666. Oh, no. What are you doing, Index? Okay. Well,
Demonstrating.
well, here you go. Demonstration. Arda Arda. Arda Arda. Arda Arda. Arda Arda. Arda Arda. Arda Arda. Damn it, both of you redeemed it. God damn it. See, now Poyo's not gonna save up. Thanks, guys. You ruined a surprise. Getting done fucked up. Oh god, what the fuck? Redeem that. God damn it, kitten.
Because I can't hear it, so. I'm sorry, my internet is like really wonky right now.
Because of the weather, huh?
Sure. Hey! Hey! Can you not? I'm gonna change networks really quick.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna see if this one will work better. I love how big it is now on your screen. Okay.
Rika-chan. Thinking about it now, the answer was very simple.
As she spoke, Rika stepped out of the horizontal tunnel and reached the ladder. The beam of light shone down upon her. In this dark world, her figure seemed almost holy, like something receiving a divine revelation.
Because we all believe we can win. You, me, and even God believe in it. This is nothing. Nippa!
Rika's smile told them that she trusted them, 100%. She believed someone would come rescue her before she got killed. That was why she didn't mind letting the enemy capture her. If it would save Shion and Kasai's lives, then it was nothing.
Coming up right now. Please, push Shion back, okay?
Mountain dogs pulled Shion's body away from the edge of the well.
If you even think about touching my friends, I'll bite my tongue and kill myself. Cikada wants to kill me personally, so if that happens, you'll be in big trouble, okay?
Alright, alright. Come on up.
Let all my friends go. According to your plan, they'll all die anyway.
Okay, thank you, Poyo. Have a good lurk, friend. No, we can't do that. We won't kill them, but we have to restrain them.
Oh, it's a pity. Farewell. It'll be faster to let go of this laugh than to bite my tongue. This is a very deep well. If you can't produce my corpse, then that ruins your plans too, doesn't it?
As long as they captured Rika, the mountain dogs didn't really care about the others. They were ready to kill the rest if they resisted once they had Rika. That's why they wouldn't agree to Rika's request. They started to think that maybe they should just lie to Rika. But that was when they heard something. Anu started to speak in a clear voice. It was a voice with a very mysterious tone. It sounded like it was coming from below the surface of the earth, but it also sounded like it was coming from heaven. Anu spoke.
Taking, I accept the deal. Quit complaining and do as she says, lowlifes. Good for your days coming up.
Hey, what's up, Jelly? Welcome, welcome.
Hey, Jelly. Hello, Jelly. You will fulfill her little request. Heaven will not provide to those who will not offer anything themselves. Stop thinking above yourselves, humans. You know your place. The sin of pretending to be more.
Nungel 1, the member who had been demanding their surrender, was suddenly overcome by a strange sensation. He had been in such an advantageous position, but somehow it didn't seem that way anymore. In that girl's voice, there was something strange about it. Feet are cold still? Put some socks on, Jelly.
Yeah, sock gang.
That voice belonged to something both holy and sacred. He instinctively sensed it. Humans can only negotiate with other humans. It's impossible to negotiate with a being greater than all humans. Wait. I'll check with the commander. Wait a minute. Nungale 1 to Phoenix 1. He had been very threatening until just a minute previous. He had grown completely perplexed. Everyone was stunned by Rika and Hanya's mysterious auras.
We'll come rescue you right away, okay?
Rena muttered as she tried to hold back her tears. Okay, we'll accept your request. We'll let everyone else go. If Furude, you come up. Major Takano says there's something she wants to talk to you about. You're under a blanket? We'll get some socks too, buddy.
Okay, I'm coming up. Nippa! 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 Nippa!
Naipa!
Nippa!
Naipa! Have we been overlooked? Have we ever been looking for you, Rika-san? You're such an important person, so you can't just disappear like that, you know. That's against the rules. Rika-san will take you back to the clinic. Everyone else is free to go. The assault unit that led Rika away headed back into the... They're about to break the rules, too.
You're not going to keep your promise, are you?
A promise? What are you talking about? Whoa there! We don't want you to bite your tongue. Hey! As Rika tried to run, Okunogi grabbed her fragile arm. He fought back, but her resistance meant nothing against him. One of the mountain dogs took out a syringe from a case. It shouldn't kill her, but it would probably put Rika to sleep. Nakano, after all, didn't need a chatty Rika. She needed a live queen carrier. If Rika got that shot, that will mean the end of this world. Before Rika could scream, the other dog covered her mouth. Hurry up and give her the shot. The dog with the syringe grew closer to Rika's arm. Rika was being grabbed from behind, and her mouth was covered. There was no way for her to fight. I believe. Even if I'm asleep, I believe. She kept repeating that in her mind. She believed that someone would wake her up. And that first thing she'd see when she opened her eyes would be her beloved friends. It happened all of a sudden.
It's my boy!
The man with the syringe spun twice in the air and dropped to the ground. Nobody, including Okanogi, could understand the sudden phenomenon. It defied the very law of physics. Rika couldn't understand it either. The man who was holding Rika from behind spoke up. I made it. The voice had such a heavy feeling imbued in it. I regretted it in countless worlds. Whenever I realized it, it was too late. What? Who are you? The others took a few steps back, away from Rika and the man holding her. There are many units within the Mountain Dogs, so often its members don't remember each other's faces. There were just too many units, so nobody really paid attention. Photo-negative Joker wasn't something I thought I'd see today. Nope. But, happened, didn't it? First time for everything, I guess? All the Mountain Dogs were more or less well-built, but this man had an excellent physique. Even Okanogi noticed that he'd never seen anyone like that in one of his units. Rather, he actually wanted to recruit him. But, this is what I've been longing to tell you all the time. Rika-chan, I came to help you.
He's all white.
Nakasaka!
The hands that were holding Rika left her shoulders. They left ever so gently. Damn you! And as soon as they did, they transformed into a pair of furious fists and planted themselves in the faces of the men attacking him from behind. They flew through the air. Agasaka hit those two without even turning around. 5 members of the Mountain Dogs surrounded Agasaka. However, he didn't even see them. He could only feel the deep emotion of finally being able to do what he had been longing to do. And the 5 of them sensed it. That maybe, just maybe, he didn't even care that they were there. What are you doing just standing there? Get him! On Okanogi's signal, the 5 Mountain Dogs bore down on Agasaka. Rika-chan, stay low.
Okay.
Rika dropped to the ground, and Agasaka was left standing. Agasaka came back to keep a promise he made with the girl 5 years ago. But his promise was worth more than 5 years. Rika knew that. Agasaka probably understood it too. Promise went back 100 years. For 100 years, he regretted not being able to save her from the conspiracy. He believed that one day there would be a miracle. He could travel back to this day. That was why he continued to train himself. His strong will and Rika's wish made that miracle happen. That one and only miracle allowed Akasaka to be here in Hinamizawa in June 1983. The first one went down in time it took Okanogi to blink. Lowering himself to grapple Agasaka had proven fatal. He wasn't so soft as to let such perfect openings go by. Agasaka's hand smashed into the back of the man's head. His blow was powerful enough to smash a pillar of ice or shatter a mountain of tiles. As it happened, Agasaka was holding back a little so that his target wasn't too injured. Agasaka goes all out. In the very first shot. That's why he needs only one shot. He is unrelenting. Agasaka's well-trained fists continue to knock down the mountain dogs, one member for every time Okunogi blinked. One hit per opponent was all Agasaka needed. This was the true essence of karate. Agasaka's colleagues praised and feared his power. His power is like armor-piercing ammunition. Fuck. Weapons were useless against him. No matter how hard his victim tried to protect himself, it meant nothing to Akasaka. He was too strong for the mountain dogs to even understand that. As if he was a giant, they had to crane their necks up to see. Agasaka didn't even give them time to think. Someone from the mountain dogs must have called for backup. About a dozen more members had arrived. Don't worry, Rika-chan. As long as I'm here, I won't let them touch you.
I'll give some pictures while I wait then.
As Rika stayed low to the ground, she picked up a stick and started to carve into the dirt. That made Okunogi even angrier, but he calmed himself down. Then, the warrior's intuition resting in Okunogi's blood came to a realization. Numbers didn't matter. Even the full force of the mountain dogs wouldn't be able to defeat the monster. All the combat units were still down in the basement. There was no way they could take him. Okay, I guess I have to take you down, huh? By the way, I remember you now. Your face brings back memories. Boy, you've sure grown, huh? You. It can't be. You don't recognize me. Sure has been a while, huh? What a hell of a lot. Good to see you again. It had been 5 years. This was the man Agasaka fought when he was investigating the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Agasaka had still been inexperienced then. I was ordered to go easy on you, so I held back. But I won't hold back today. That fat guy won't come help you either. Still, you sure have improved a lot in the past 5 years, huh? I'm happy. I've been hoping for something like this for 5 long years. The rest of you, stay out of this. He's mine. Okunogi took off all of his equipment and threw it to the ground. He loosened one button and then positioned. Seeing that, Agasaka realized he was somewhat capable, and narrowed his eyes in vigilance. Okunogi took that as an insult. That Agasaka only thought he was somewhat capable. His behavior was telling Okunogi that he viewed him on the same level as the other small fry. Oh, what the fuck? Agasaka first moved to take up his stance and avoided getting Rika involved. What the fuck? That's karate, apparently? Jesus.
Karate!
Agasaka hadn't even moved one bit until just then. Okunogi could easily see that Agasaka was extremely sorry. At the same time, he thought he would be fairly simple to take down. Karate may be a martial art, but nowadays it was... Army combat Okunogi trained in was completely different. Obviously, Agasaka studied a lot, but it's still just child's play. All he learned were routine moves and forms. Besides, karate moves are fairly straightforward. Okunogi was confident that he could fight any karate pro and win. Okunogi started leaning onto his toes and using his meticulous footwork. In contrast, Agasaka still hadn't moved from his back stand. Agasaka was acting as if Okunogi's footwork was simply a trick, which infuriated Okunogi. Okunogi moved fiercely and nimbly in a manner completely different from how Agasaka was moving earlier. Agasaka remained calm. Okunogi saw it differently. He can't react to my movements, so he's preparing to take damage in order to deal more. Whoa! Agasaka couldn't defend himself from Okunogi's quick jab, and it connected with his face. It was a quick but light attack. Its purpose was to distract Agasaka and create an opening for Okunogi. Okunogi knew that Agasaka would use his arms to guard his face instinctively. Okanogi's real first purpose was to attack his abdomen, which would then be unguarded. Of course, Agasaka didn't have enough time to guard himself. It took more than good kinetic vision to prevent his attack. Only Okanogi, who trained for many years, had perfected the speed of that technique. Normal people would struggle helplessly while vomiting if they were to experience Okanogi's kick. It could even rupture internal organs. It was pretty amazing that Agasaka was still on his feet. What's the matter, Mr. Karate? Can't you fight back? Too light. What? Agasaka mumbled something, but Okanogi couldn't hear. Actually, he did hear it. Okanogi never imagined he could say such a thing in this situation, so he couldn't hear it. Couldn't comprehend it. Too light. What did you just say? Your attack is only meant to defeat your opponent. That's why there's no weight to it. Huh? What are you talking about? Karate nourishes you spiritually. To attack others, you have to learn to be attacked. When one learns how much pain and grief their blown blow deals to others, they finally understand the meaning of striking another and being struck. You aren't even close to that level. That's why your attack has no weight to it. Are you saying that I'm still immature? Okanogi attacked Agasaka again. This time, Agasaka was different. Agasaka blocked Okanogi's fists and legs. Of course, Okanogi was still the only one attacking, but Agasaka had started to become much more aggressive. Now as Okanogi attacked, his hands and legs were being injured. Okanogi instinctively sensed that he was in trouble. He thought Agasaka was just a police officer, but his movements were too dangerous. He was merciless. He was dangerous. Agasaka's training and experience must far surpass Okanogi's. Wait, that dynamic heel kick isn't karate, is it? Agasaka's heel kick missed Okanogi's head by a millimeter. You do something other than karate, don't you? No. Only do karate. That was a good screenshot.
No, I only do karate.
God damn it, that's funny. Don't lie. Some of those moves you're doing aren't karate at all. Okanogi was starting to become impatient. The reason Okanogi ridiculed martial arts as sports was because they were all hard-headed and only used set moves. That's how you strike in karate. That's how you punch in boxing. This is how you throw in judo. It's easy to learn and that's why it's easy to win. But Agasaka was different. He said that he only did karate, and he must have spent unthinkable hours training. Yet he was flexible enough not to be confined only by formatted moves. That was understanding at a spiritual level. The spirit of martial arts isn't just forms. One simply learns forms to reach that spiritual level. Therefore, for one who has reached it, there are no forms. What Agasaki had was a philosophical spirit. I'm disappointed in you. Listen to Shit! Agasaka stepped away from his original spot for the first time. He moved forward. He filled the space between Okanogi and himself with this inescapable conviction. As Agasaka walked closer to Okanogi, Agasaka's assault radius tried to swallow him whole. To be within that radius meant death. Okanogi walked backwards to avoid being in that radius. That was as a result of his clear-headed judgment. Not because he was scared. You don't even know the meaning of attack. I'll teach you just how significant it can be. Damn. Oh! As Okanogi moved backwards, his back hit the van he came in earlier. He was cornered. Having your back to the wall didn't mean you were at a disadvantage. But the more it was pressed against that wall, the further a disadvantage it became. If Okanogi let Agasaka come any closer, Okanogi wouldn't be able to take a combat stance. Okanogi decided it immediately. The last chance he had was the moment before Agasaka took his next step. Agasaka's foot left the ground. He was taking another step. Now! Go to hell! No tricks, no feints. Okanogi lowered himself and attacked with everything he had. The attack was powerful enough to break Akasaka's ribcage and rupture his heart. I'm a professional, Okanogi told himself. I can't be defeated by this amateur. I'm Okanogi of the Mountain Dogs. Good for you. How much did you get paid, huh? At that moment, Akasaka's eyes opened wide. Wow. Jesus. Whoa! Get punched, though.
I love the consistency in the faces.
Yeah. Oh! All the mountain dogs heard a noise. Holy shit. Courage punch. It wasn't the noise of people fighting.
Plus ultra'd him into the van.
Fucking dynamic punch. It was
Fucking punch.
the noise of a traffic accident. Okanogi's blow missed by a slight amount. Nagasaka's fist struck inches away from Okanogi's face. There was a dent in the sliding door of the van. The windows on both sides had shattered, and it looked like the van was in an accident. Was it even possible for a human fist to do this? Time resumed its flow, and Okanogi knelt down, falling to the ground. Akasaka didn't miss on purpose. Akasaka couldn't control his fist because he put everything into one blow. Okanogi should thank Akasaka. If Akasaka had been able to control his attack better, Okanogi's face could have ended up like the van. However, although it didn't hit Okanogi's face, it shattered his.
Good job, Akasaka. Clap, clap, clap. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rika applauded. But in this situation, it didn't sound like applause. It almost sounded like Akasaka's fighting spirit was popping like firecrackers. Akasaka pulled back his fist, turned around calmly, and spoke. Who's next? I don't want to waste time, so why don't you come at me all at once? Ah! They knew. Everyone knew that there was no way to defeat Akasaka with their bare hands. They realized they needed weapons. They also needed more people. There should be a better equipment unit in the basement. All of a sudden, things began to move quickly. The remaining mountain dogs emerged from the basement. You are not permitted to fire on the surface. I repeat, do not fire on the surface. Phoenix 1, give us permission to collect R and retreat immediately. But the mountain dogs who just witnessed Akasaka's battle against the Okanogi realized it was time for them to run. They didn't even care about Rika. Who would even think of taking Rika from him after seeing what Akasaka was capable of doing? When Okanogi regained his awareness, he jumped into the van with the mountain dogs and drove away. Since Okanogi took off his
Welcome,
intercom...
Raiders.
Oh, wait.
Come one and come all and enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, Yami? How you doing, dude? What are you up to, man? How was your stream? Rigging your new model? Oh, dang. Ugh. I didn't know he had a new model in the works, man. How's it going with that? Yeah, I'm just here with Index. We're reading some Higurashi, and we're getting very close to the end, finally. So, spoiler warning for anybody out there who wants to, not know the ending yet. But yeah, how's the new model, dude? I've been working on it non-stop for the last few weeks. Oh, yeah? Live 2D, right? Those take a very long time to rig, what I hear. All my artist friends complain about how much of a pain in the ass it is to rig.
I've tried.
You've tried it?
I'm not special enough to have enough brain power to do it, and will.
It's a lot of work. Every single movement you have to fucking make, huh?
Yeah, it's pain.
Well, good luck, Yami. The last one was pretty good. Pretty cool. It's really cool if you're an artist and you get your own model to work. Gotta be very fulfilling in it. I find rigging less painful than making it, though. Really? Than making the model? Really?
Yeah.
I've heard otherwise. Opposite.
Takes a long time.
To make just the model?
Mm-hmm.
With it. Hold on, I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back. Index entertain the audience for me. Pretty
I don't know
please.
how to. I'm not entertaining.
Pretty please, I must pee. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's up, everybody? Want to hear something funny? One of Penguin's IRL friends and me got Penguin the same gift for Christmas. I find that very funny. That's how I feel personally. Oh no, it's fine. I find it all kind of hard because it's not so much that it's like difficult. I find it tedious. Gonna go back to messing with Live 2D now. Bye-bye. Okay. Thank you so much for coming. You. I wish you luck in your endeavor. Indeed. Ada. Oh, okay. Ada. Yada. Yada. Oh, bye.
Okay, I'm back. Whew.
Welcome back.
Gonna go back to messing with live tweeting. Okay, thanks, Yami, for stopping by, buddy. India Ara. Alright. Okay. Since Okonogi took off his intercom device to fight with Agasaka, he had no idea what had transpired in the basement. After the Mountain Dogs broke their promise with Rika, they were supposed to round up the remaining club members. But when Agasaka showed up, the dogs had to be divided into a ground force and basement force, which altered the situation. Kasai had gone on a counterattack, and the other club members somehow climbed up from the wall and helped them. A what? Since the Mountain Dogs weren't allowed to fire on the surface, they realized that would make the situation worse if Kasai fired his guns once he came up after them. Okanogi was unreachable, so Nightingale 1 had ordered the retreat in his place. Who would bear the responsibility for this? It was probably Okanogi's fault for taking off his intercom device to fight against Akasaka, as he basically abandoned his job as a commander. He did, huh? But everything happened in the first place because Akasaka showed up. So maybe it was his triumph rather than Okanogi's blunder. Either way, everything was miraculous. But the Mountain Dogs hadn't run with their tails between their legs. They had simply retreated for the moment. When they returned, they would have enough men and enough arms ready to kill all who stand in their way. And that would happen very soon. There was no time to waste.
Rika! I'm glad you're safe. Yeah, I am. Thanks to a miracle. No, it wasn't a miracle. Oh. We worked together and one of us, oh my gosh, Kondo. Damn it. He clicked out of the screen, the window.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
I'm back. We worked together and when of us, Akasaka came to help you, that's all. Wow. That's true. Something like this can't be called a miracle. Meow. Okay, now's our time to attack! No.
In the basement, the club members were talking about their grand counterattack. Rika was a little disappointed that she couldn't have joined them, but she was happy that Akasaka told her what she had been waiting to hear. Rika told him about how heroic he had been. He got a little embarrassed. Kasai was doing alright, but Shion wasn't doing too well. Of course, it wasn't life-threatening, but she couldn't hear well in her left ear, possibly due to the being so close to an explosion. The test her hearing, Mion went around to Shion's left side and whispered dirty words. She seemed to be able to hear them fairly well. Of course, she might have been hearing through her right ear, though. Shion decided to lie down on a tatami mattress in the torture room while Ide kept an eye on her. Shion was very worried, but Shion told her that she was okay, and forced her to go ahead and... Shion complained that Shion didn't understand her feelings. Now they would have to come up with an idea to rescue Tometake from the clinic. They had Akasaka and Kasai on their side, both of whom were used to battles. Also, they had Ide, who knew about the secret basement of the clinic. They would have to get moving quickly, but they had to at least have a plan. It was almost 10:30 a.m. Because of what had they gone through? They were exhausted and it felt like it was... But if they were at school, it would only be a second or third period. They had to pull themselves together. They had to regain their fighting spirit. Ide checked Shion's left ear with a pen light. I'm not a specialist, but your eardrum may have been damaged. Do you have a headache or feel dizzy at all?
No. I'll be just fine.
Ide wet his handkerchief and wiped Shion's face gently.
Are you surprised? The manager of the Hinamizawa Fighters was in a gunfight, I mean.
Yeah, I am. I heard you were ready to give up your own life. My Bada-san told me.
Jeez. Things like that sound cool in the moment, but when you survive, they're pretty embarrassing, huh? Man.
If something happens to you and I live, my sister will never forgive me for that. I don't have my loved one anymore, but Sis does. I don't mean to tease you, but you're talking about Satoshi-kun.
Well, I don't know. Who knows where he could be? I don't even know if he's alive or dead.
He's alive.
Eh?
Shion's thoughts stopped in their tracks when they answered immediately. Satoshi Hojo-kun is alive. He developed terminal symptoms due to an excessive stress last night. Shion and the other club members had already told Shion about the current situation. Kind of understood what he meant.
Welcome to Glacierland. Enjoy all the rides and
Oh,
make
heck.
sure not to freeze to death.
999. Luist? I'm sorry if I pronounce that. Welcome to Glacierland. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I thought I could treat him with the same drug I used on Satoko-chan. But Satoko-chan was one of the very rare lucky cases. Toshi-kun's treatment had been very difficult. Still going on.
Satoshi-kun. He is still alive?
I'm sorry for not telling you this until now. Toshi-kun is in the basement of the clinic. What? What? He's... Shion and Ide returned from the torture room. Shion looked very serious, as if she had gained the determination to fight. Heiichi and the others were just talking about how the enemy found where they were. Do you think there might be some kind of device on Dr. Ide's clothes? Not his personal clothes, but something the clinic provides. Excuse me. Do you mean my coat?
Excuse me, let me check.
Hey man, finally found your stream from Adriana, by the way. It's just Lewis. 999 because I'm a huge Wild fan. Also D is... Oh, thank you, thank you. Adriana?
What?
You mean Adrian? Are you talking about Adrian or is somebody else?
When you get confused.
I'm not sure who Adriana is. I think you mean Adrian. I know. Interesting. But thank you for the bless you. Yeah. She unchecked Ide over like an inspector at an airport. Then she found a little button on the backside of his collar. Oh, okay. Oh, cool, cool, man. Yeah, Adrian's cool. She was fun to collab with, and she does really cool art too. Yeah, I met her through Ophidia. Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you. We're just reading some Higurashi right now, and we're coming up towards the end. So, spoiler alert. Yeah. Thanks for coming over, man. It was a little round button. There was no reason why a button like this would be on the back of the collar.
This is probably it. This is how they found us without following the car. Damn it. But as long as we have this button, it's cool for us to create a diversion, right?
A decoy unit with this button can lure the enemy away. While the clinic is short on staff, we attack and rescue Tomitake-san. No worries, I'll just have you playing in the background while I play Genshin, so I'll just be relaxing and... Oh, for sure. Thanks, man, I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, man. Welcome anytime.
I think that's what everybody's doing. Did you see how many people are in chat?
No, I didn't.
Like watching?
No, I didn't.
There's just like a ton of usernames.
Yeah, there are actually.
A lot of lurks.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Lurkers are the backbone of our community, pretty much.
Lurkers are valid too.
Very much so. And yeah, I will put these up on YouTube for your guys' convenience if you ever want to go watch them later. They will be up here for 60 days, and then they'll be on YouTube. Ever. Appreciate it, everybody. A DK unit with this button can lure the enemy away, and while the clinic is short on staff, we attack and rescue Tomitake-san. I think that's the best one.
Oh my gosh, it didn't pick me up. In that case, the decoy unit should bring our foes to my house.
Uh-oh, is it the Genshin community you guys are talking about? The Genshin people, they're everywhere. You cannot escape them. Yeah, that area would be perfect. It's pretty vast. So the enemy will have to bring lots of men, rendering the clinic practically empty. But we'll have no way of knowing how many stay behind at the clinic. Mr. Tomitake is there, so they'll probably leave an appropriate number of men to guard him.
In that case, we should add something they want more than Tomitake to the decoy unit.
Even play shit. What? Talking to me, kitten?
I think they're talking to Lewis. Yeah.
Want out? Want to go outside again? It's raining outside, so he's fucking terrified that there'll be thunders hiding in my room.
But he also wants to go outside.
Yeah, he also wants to go out. Alright.
He sounds so happy.
Pet, pet, pet.
Okay.
Are you sure, Rika? Yes. As long as I'm with everyone. As long as I'm with everyone in Sutoko's Hills, I won't get caught.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe club members know the hills well enough. So maybe it's a good idea for us to use the decoy unit.
Yeah, that works.
So the adult unit will attack the clinic, while the decoy unit lures the enemy away. What's the chance of success?
As long as Akasaka pretends not to see anything. I heard you're a policeman. Kasai spoke while loading his shotgun.
Outside is all metal.
I'm off duty now. Nagasaki replied while checking an automatic pistol. He hadn't used this particular gun before, but he was used to handling guns. He was prepared to fire, too. Ide tried to memorize how to remove the safety, but he looked nervous. Ide's like, what's a gun? How do I use it?
Ide, such a nerd.
Oh, hey, Fumble. Alright, Fumble.
Fumble!
Hold on 1 second. We'll get you your spin going. Quick.
I want cheese.
A random thing to say.
I'm hungry.
Are you a mouse now? You want cheese?
Yeah.
Alright. See what you get, Fumble. Ooh, you got what you wanted, Fumble. Whoa! You got a curse starter out of that sexy one.
Powers of Fumble.
Ada. There you go, Fumble. Hope you're happy. Alright, Kitten, let's spin for you. Ooh, Kitten, lucky you. Congratulations, Kitten. Alright, Kitten. You get to choose a Steam code, my friend. Go ahead and let me know which one you want, buddy. You want a cracker, Lewis? Okay. Oh, because Index wanted cheese. I get it. Ha! I get it. Alright. Have you ever used a machine gun before? No. I've only ever used handgun. And maybe you should get used to it. Make sure you have the full magazine at all times. And have another gun just in case the magazine gets stuck. Kasai-san. Is that a shotgun? The odd number of shots are slug bullets. They can suppress enemies as well as destroy walls.
Oh, wow. I know people call you Shotgun Tatsu, but you really are a shotgun expert, huh?
Shotguns are very deadly. Therefore, even without firing a shot, my opponents may surrender. By the way, I have some bulletproof vests. You should wear them. Kasai sounded very dependable, but at the same time, he reminded everyone that this operation be a very dangerous one. It wasn't a simple fist fight. Even a veteran soldier can die in a gun battle. There's always a chance of death, regardless of how well trained you are. In fact, Kasai and Nagasaki were the only people who could be depended upon. Kasai talked Ide out of carrying a gun because it might be dangerous for him to have one. Someone could get injured by friendly fire. Mion suggested that maybe there should be more people on the team, but both Kasai and Akasaka refused because those who couldn't even handle guns at all might end up dead weight.
Well, then I have to go, huh? We lack firepower.
I'll bring my Ingram to support you. Ooh, an Ingram. Nice.
But are you okay, Shion? How's your ear?
Oh. It's all better now. I'm back to normal. Sorry to make you worry. Shion. What did I just say? Eh? Of course, I heard it.
Shion had tricked her. Shion didn't say anything. Shion still couldn't hear out of her left ear.
Shion, it's too dangerous. To be honest with you, you shouldn't even be here in the decoy unit.
Thank you for the lurk, Fumble.
You should go hide somewhere. Sis, listen. I now have a reason why I have to go to the clinic. But if I mention it, Satoko is going to want to come too. But she just can't. There will be an indoor fight. The enemy will fire at us. You mean...
Shion sensed it. She sensed the reason why Shion had to go to the clinic. That was why she didn't say anything more. If she was in Shion's position, she would go even if neither of her ears could hear.
Higurashi-san! Please! Get over! Satoko? Shion will join the rescue unit. Satoko, the decoy unit is counting on you. Concentrate on your job. She can. You know, right, Rena-san? You know I'm not planning to die. Yeah. I do. Determined girls never die.
That's a good one.
Determined girls never die. And that's right. Even if they kill me, I won't die.
Shion and Rena gave each other a high five.
Okay, decided. Let's get moving. See? I'll take the baton.
The button? Baton?
What
What the fuck? Oh my god!
I'm dyslexic. Don't be mean to me. Help. Discrimination. Help, I'm being oppressed.
Oh, whatever.
Here you are. Good luck, Rika-chama. You too, Shi-chan. You believe strongly in a miracle. Now it's gonna happen. Therefore, this is a chance that God has given you. I think there are days I don't believe. I think someone even admonished me for that. It is difficult to keep believing, isn't it? You believed. You're regretting not believing, so you believed. So please cherish today. You're stronger. You're strong. You're strong, well brought about today. You will no longer have to suffer what you had to suffer until now.
Hey, are you my sis's new friend?
I don't know your name, but thank you.
Yeah, I think it'll go well.
Of course it'll go well. Of course it'll go well. Bayashi, here's some my guarantees, eh?
Mountain dogs had retreated and reorganized their units. They were now ready to attack again. The Khan was furious at them for not being able to bring R back to the clinic, even though they had her in their hands. He gave an order to capture her with all the Mountain Dog's forces put together. Their vehicles were at the clinic and all standing by for the order to attack. The Khan wasn't the only one who was furious. Okanogi was angry as her. That rookie policeman from 5 years ago had grown, even made Okanogi yield. Couldn't accept that he was defeated, bent on revenge. The reason why the order to attack was held off was because the signal from the transmission device on Ide was momentarily interrupted. They interpreted it to mean that Ide had gone even further down in the base. Mountain Dogs assumed that the club members would go even further underground and try to escape by using some kind of secret passageway. That passageway couldn't be that long. They'd have to come up to the surface eventually. Mountain Dogs were planning to catch them as soon as they surfaced. The villagers were too busy with finishing setup for the festival. They had no idea what was going on. By this time, the Mountain Dogs had shut down the telephone network. They were afraid the club members would call the police. The only way into the town was being watched by the blockade unit, so the club members couldn't escape that way. R and her friends had come to the surface. They couldn't be thinking of staying underground until things settled down. Their lifeline, Tomitake, was in captivity. They couldn't be stupid enough to think of attacking the clinic to rescue them. More than likely, they would try to escape from the village on foot. They would probably call the police to help them. The patrol unit had several cars driving around the village, their eyes peeled for the signal of her transmitter or those on the run. It was time to wait patiently. The battle had returned to the starting point, and the balance of power was ever again. Scheduled report from Skylark 2. All clear. Can't stay quiet for that long. We have to be patient. I'll turn up. By the way, where's the princess? I believe she's interrogating First Lieutenant Tomitake. She's trying to talk him into joining our side. At this point, that may be the only way to settle matters peacefully. Good thing we captured him alive. Evil kitten laugh? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, how foreboding.
No, why evil? Why evil?
With the princess gone and no phone calls from Tokyo, I can finally enjoy this cool air-conditioned breeze. Commander, there's a radio call from Tokyo. It's from Nomura-san, and it's for you, not the major. Good grief, if the phone's no good, they'll use the radio, huh? Well, I wonder what the Queen in Tokyo wants from me now. Okanogi of the Mountain Dogs here. Over. Uh-oh. Tomitake was being held in a small meeting room. He was shoved under a desk. He was restrained so tightly that he couldn't even turn around. Takano was sitting in a chair next to the table, staring at a whiteboard. It outlined the research plan that was to be shut down. But Takano was really reading it. He was just staring. Neither of them said a thing. Silence filled the meeting room.
It's almost 11 a.m. What a long day. I was woken up so early. It's not even noon yet.
Tomitake didn't reply.
Chiro-san, do you think you can help me? I don't need the mountain dogs. I only want you.
I'll take the baton. E2021. Ah,
Why are you so mean, kitten?
did he clip that?
Did you clip it?
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny.
Clip it? Fuck! God damn it! That's not fair. The mountain dogs can't comfort me. I finally realize your insensitivity is the only thing that can. Jiro-san, you knew that, right? That's why you acted that way, right? You thought that there was no use in trying to sympathize, and you tried to comfort me. That's what you thought, right? You only pretended to be insensitive to help me enjoy myself, didn't you? Hold on, head died. I'm not speaking to you as Major Takano. I'm speaking to you as Mio Takano. You still won't talk to me?
A hostage may only give his name, rank, and identification number. Kano hung her head.
I don't have the key to those handcuffs. Sorry.
That's fine. I didn't ask you to remove them.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
No thanks. I don't want you to have to help me go to the bathroom in this position. Hardly a conversation, but Kano was happy that Toмотaki had finally replied. However, that wouldn't solve any of their problems. If you must kill me, I'm alright with that. I made my peace when I was caught.
Yeah. I was planning to kill you tonight. I'm glad you're prepared for that.
Good. Then my resolve won't go to waste.
Hey, don't you want to live? If you promise to join me, you won't have to die. My superiors say there's no point in keeping you alive, but I'll work something out.
Who are your superiors?
I don't know. The person who contacts me calls herself Nomura, but I'm sure that's not her real name. I don't really know.
Must have talked to her before you decided to do this, right?
I only talked to her a few times. And I think back, she probably just wanted to use me. But at that time, I thought she was the only person who could understand me.
I understand. I knew there was a time when you needed someone to help you. I wish I could have been there for you.
Yeah. If you were there, that would have been so nice.
Nobody has died yet.
But I'm going to kill them.
You have your masterminds, but there are other masterminds in Tokyo who oppose them. Most of them want to hush up this issue. You may think it's too late to do anything about it, but you're wrong. There is still something you can do. You can make this whole thing disappear.
My grandfather's research on the syndrome would disappear too, won't it?
Kano-san, what do you want to happen? Kano closed her eyes for a bit, but she came up with an answer. Her grandfather's research had been insulted. He wanted those with higher positions of authority to take it seriously. Nomura could make that happen. When the final operation was enacted, the higher-ups of the country would have to read the article. They would have to believe it. They will authorize the execution of the emergency man. And yes, that would create an irreversible disaster. But at the same time, the disaster would prove that her grandfather's article had merit. Be satisfied with that?
Sure. I'll be satisfied. That is the purpose of my life.
I asked you before. You're going to disappear after this operation, aren't you? Takano's purpose will be fulfilled, and she will vanish from the face of the earth. You'll return to being Miyoko Takahashi. That's her real name, isn't it? How long had it been since she heard that name? Takano closed her eyes slightly.
Yeah, that's right. Soon enough, I will return to being Miyako Tanashi.
Tanashi Miyoko lost her parents. Was sent to an orphanage as a little girl. Died after being tortured. That's what you said, right?
Yes, I did. I'll have to go back inside of that metal frame. Have you experienced something like that, Chio-san?
Kano told Tomitake about her horrible experiences. They're simply unimaginable for normal people.
I'm going to return to that place, and this time, Grandfather won't come and help me. So, I'll die. If I was dead, I wouldn't exist here. If I wasn't here, then there wouldn't be Erie Institute. I wouldn't be stuck living out in some bizarre fate.
You're planning to die, aren't you?
I'm supposed to be reported after the operation. I don't believe that. I might be suddenly killed one day.
Don't you have someone who you can trust?
My clients are just my clients. They're not my allies. But the dogs are. I paid them more than enough.
You can't truly trust them, can you?
They are my allies. They caught you, and they're trying to catch her friends as we speak. They're helping me.
But that's not the kind of ally you need right now.
You're right. They aren't the kind of ally I need right now.
Takano paused. She paused because Tomitake had just said exactly what she had been thinking. Since the day Tomitake disappeared, she had been feeling restless. Takano had to admit that she needed Take.
Jiro-san? I paid the mountain dogs a few 100 million yen to be on my side. I have a little more than 100 million yen left. How much do I need to pay you?
You should think about how much it really costs to get what you really want.
That's a rather pretentious thing to say in this situation. You want me to say it's something I can't buy with money, right?
Why don't you give up? You may be able to tame the mountain dogs with your money, but that won't work with me.
But I want you on my side. If you want, I'll give you everything. Not just money. You can do whatever you want with me. If you want me to lick your shoes, I will. Isn't that enough?
Tomitake didn't reply. It wasn't affirmation by silence, but a signal to Takano that he had already told her everything he meant to say. The most saddening form of silence for her.
I'll make you breakfast every morning. I'll show up before you when we meet. I'll never make you wait just to test you. Isn't that enough? Jio-san?
Tomitake, say a word. He couldn't see her face under the desk, but he could sense it. This wasn't the time to say anything to her. Remaining silent was the only thing he could do. Suddenly, the phone rang. Kano sniffled once and picked it up.
This is Cicadas. I see. Understood. I'll be right there.
Kano stood up as she put down the phone.
The mountain dogs found our. We found Erie's signal too. They must have already known the roads are close and are trying to escape through the mountains on foot. And it won't be easy to hunt them there, but we're actually at an advantage since there's nobody else around. See, Jiro-san, I think this will be our final conversation. I wish I could have heard you say something at the end of all of it.
Still, Tomitake stayed silent. Kano ran out of the room. It didn't look like she was hurrying back to work. I think this is a good place to stop, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Things are gonna get all fucking serious now.
Getting hungry and tired.
Poor Index.
I haven't eaten since 2.
Why didn't you eat before?
Because I'm an idiot. I'm not smart.
You silly goose. You're not an idiot, you're just...
It's dumb.
Yeah, don't be like that. Head pats for in.
I'm just glad my internet was able to hold out as much as it did.
Everybody give Index hugs. Hug for in. Big ol' icy hug.
Thank you. Thank you for the icy hug.
Alright.
I definitely won't freeze to death.
Alright, everybody. Thank y'all for hanging out today. I think the next stream might be the final one for Higurashi. Just might be. Just might.
Just might.
I'm not gonna put all my eggs in that basket, but I think it's a good chance it will. But yeah, thank y'all for hanging out tonight. And I will get my schedule hopefully posted. But yeah, I should see you guys tomorrow, maybe. If not, I'll see you Wednesday. And yeah, thanks Index for joining me. Thank you everybody for hanging out. And let me see. What the heck?
What?
Let's raid Space Shoot. Still going.
Hurt.
He likes to end after like 2 hours. I don't know. Let me make sure she's not ending right.
Okay.
Damn ad.
I hate ads too.
I also still think that looking at a WoW screen though is very overwhelming.
Alright, she's still going. Alright. We're gonna raid Space Uni-chan. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Chatting, I guess. But yeah. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. Go ahead and copy that message down to Kit. Just... Oh.
Okay.
Alright, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We're gonna raid Space June. Let's go say hi to her. She's Space Goop. And yeah, have a good night, everybody. See y'all next time. Good night.